What's up, y'all? This is TJ with Fake It or Make It. In today's video, we're going to be building a little free library. What is a little free library? Quote, a little free library is a take a book, return a book, free book exchange. They come in many shapes and sizes, but the most common version is a small wooden box of books. Anyone may take a book or bring a book to share. Little free library book exchanges have a unique personal touch. There is an understanding that real people are sharing their favorite books with their community. Little free libraries have actually been called mini town squares. Now, all of this information is coming straight from littlefreelibrary.org, the website. And they have all sorts of information, frequently asked questions, top 10 facts, all that kind of cool stuff. So I'm just kind of pulling some stuff from the website to talk about during the video so that maybe you may be enticed to go check it out and even start a little free library in your own neighborhood. The very first Little Free Library was built by a man named Todd Ball of Hudson, Wisconsin in 2009. It was a tribute to his mother that was a school teacher that loved to read. It looked like a small one-room schoolhouse. He put this in his front yard with a sign that said, "Take a book, leave a book." Soon his friends and neighbors would flock to it and absolutely loved it. He would go on to make several more and give them away. Since then, Little Free Library has become a nonprofit powerhouse with Little Free Libraries in all 50 states and countries around the world. Sadly, on October 18, 2018, Todd Ball passed away sadly from pancreatic cancer. In his last days, he was quoted as saying, "I really believe in a little free library on every block and a book in every hand. I believe people can fix their neighborhoods, fix their communities, develop systems of sharing, learn from each other, and see that they have a better place on this planet to live." If that's not powerful words, I don't know what is. That was absolutely beautiful, and my hat's off to you, Mr. Bowl. So say you want to build your own little free library just for your neighborhood. How do you do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Step 1, according to littlefreelibrary.org, identify a location and a steward. And in this case, steward means caretaker. This is going to be someone that promotes the library and makes sure that it's clean and inviting. You first need to decide where you can legally and safely install the library. The location should have regular foot traffic and be highly visible to anyone nearby. Step 2, get a library. You can build your own little free library following any design that you like, or find someone locally to build one for you. Another way you can get a little free library is to buy one from the Little Free Library's online store. Libraries purchased through their online store are automatically registered and come with a charter sign. Step 3, you need to register your little free library. You register by purchasing an official charter sign. If you buy a little free library from the online store, it will automatically come registered with a charter sign included. If you build your own book sharing box, you register it by purchasing a charter sign. After you register, you gain access to a network of benefits just for stewards, such as the option to set up your steward account and list your library on the Little Free Library mobile app. Step 4, set up your steward account. After you purchase your Little Free Library or charter sign, you will receive an email with a link to set up your steward account. With an account, you can log in to the Little Free Library app or steward web portal and enter all of your library's details. Push your library's location live on the map whenever you're ready to go. Take advantage of other interactive features in your steward account, like enabling a guest book for your visitors, posting announcements, linking to your social media pages, and much more. And finally, step 5. Build community support. Get your community involved. Tell your friends, family, and neighbors in person. Use social media to engage your community. Hold a grand opening ceremony and invite your neighbors to kick off the library in style with a ribbon cutting, snacks, and books freely exchanged. Contact the local paper, radio, and TV stations. Send out a press release. The more people who know about your library and support it, the better. Wow, that's pretty easy. Even a simple caveman like myself can understand that process. Now, as far as this particular little free library goes that I'm building here, this was a plan that I pulled directly from the littlefreelibrary.org website. And what I had to do was register and sign up for the newsletter. I was going to do that anyway, but this way I was able to get a couple of free plans to go by. I thought that it would be really cool to actually use some plans from the actual website to incorporate into this build to kind of promote and show people how easy it is, and that if you have, simple woodworking skills and some tools, you can actually build your own. This is a really simple, straightforward build. They have even more simple plans than this one that involve far less tools and less materials. But I thought this one was really nice looking and I was capable of building it, and that's why I went this direction with this particular little free library build. To be clear, this is not going to be for my neighborhood. My aunt is one that actually contacted me and enlightened me to the Little Free Library organization. I've only seen one or two of these little free libraries and really didn't think much of it. I thought that it was just on a neighborhood scale. I didn't realize how big and huge this program is. With lumber being at an all-time high right now, money is hard to come by and materials hard to come by. I really wanted to help her out and donate my scrap wood and just use as much of my scrap as I possibly could. I did have to buy a few things such as the plexiglass, the shingles, and the spring hinges, and some trim, some weather stripping to go behind the door, because you want these little book boxes to be as absolutely watertight as you possibly can. So you need to make sure that the door stays shut, and all of your holes and seams are caulked nice and full and tight and has a really good coat of paint on it. So you just need to make sure that this thing is going to be out in the weather, so it has to be as weatherproof as you could possibly make it. One of the really cool things about working from a set of plans is that there's a cut list in the plans. So I was able to actually take all of these cuts and mill all of this lumber ahead of time. I spent a whole day in the shop going through all my scrap wood and milling each piece off of the cut list. This took a lot of time, but I was really able to pick out the best pieces of scrap for each individual component on the little free library here. Originally, the plans called for a cedar shingle roof. I am absolutely horribly allergic to cedar, and that really sucks for me because I love to work with cedar. I tried to use some cedar shingles on this, but I could not get it to look right, and I just got tired of being itchy and my sinuses messed up. So I had to make a few adjustments, and I backed up and went with some architectural shingles. These were really easy to put up, not very expensive, and I had some left over in case I need to patch the chicken coop or something later. So this wasn't a total waste having to buy a whole bundle, as my local home stores didn't sell the individual shingles like I've seen in the past. So buying a whole bundle, that's just what I had to do. But if you can find somewhere that somebody maybe has an open bundle, that would be great too. But at least with these shingles, I know that no water will be able to get in through the roof. I will say that just because I was working from really easy to follow plans, I will say that there was still some difficulties just in the translation and my understanding of how it was supposed to go, because the plans were a little lacking in actual pictures and representations. So you really had to kind of use your own imagination. And here you're going to see something pretty funny. So I'll let you go ahead and enjoy that right now. Ouch. Oh, goodness. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Oh, that soft thud sound is the sound of hitting your fingers with a 20-ounce E-swing. Oh, apple butter. Oh, gosh. Apple butter? Come on, man. You know, that is a sign that I have really matured, because as hard as I hit my finger just then, that should have normally been a whole lot of profanity and things that are not for all ages. That was how I managed to not cuss or use swear words. I'll never know, because that really seriously hurt. Right here you can see that I'm just using some butyl rubber in my caulking gun to further secure the ends of the shingles that are down closer to the eave where there's no nails present. So this is just a little extra peace of mind to help secure the shingles to the roof deck. Alright, now that we have this little free library all dried in, all framed up, everything is good to go, I'm falling back with my orbital sander and just knocking off the rough edges and making sure there's no sharp corners that anybody could possibly scratch themselves on or catch a splinter from. And I just went from 80 to 150. I didn't have to get too crazy with it because it's just plywood and regular framing materials. And here you can see that I'm coming back with some latex caulk, painter's caulk, and just filling in every gap that I can find, all the cracks and crevices, filling all that in with caulk and making a nice smooth surface, so that whenever I come back and paint, there won't be any cracks for bugs or water or any other thing to happen in these little tiny cracks. This is also a good time to make sure that if you have any brad nails poking out or turned out or anything like that, you need to make sure that you identify them, because whenever I was trying to put a bead of caulk on the inside of the little library, I did cut my finger in a corner where a small brad nail head had just barely poked through the surface. So you want to make sure that you try and get all these nails and all these splinters and anything that can harm somebody, get them taken care of at this stage, because you're really going over this little free library with a fine-tooth comb at this point. My first coat of paint was done with Kills 2, which is basically the water-based or latex version of Kills. And this Kills 2 covers really nicely. It leaves kind of like a chalky matte finish so that your subsequent layers of paint will adhere really nicely to, and it fills the pores of the wood really well. I actually went back and did a second coat of Kills just because this wood was drinking up so much of the paint. But that tiny little bit of film in the bottom of the can, that paint that was left in the bottom, actually did this whole building, this little structure here. So it actually worked out. I didn't think I was going to have enough, but I managed to stretch it far enough to get 2 good coats of Kills. Luckily I had gray and white. The white you see here is just a regular Rust-Oleum latex exterior grade paint, and the gray on the trim is a cheap Valspar budget friendly line of paint, and it is terrible. I can't stand it. I'm using my little trim brush here, which is typically good for a thicker paint, but for this really thin watery Valspar paint, it's just too wild. So I had a lot of touch up to do with this particular paint. But it turned out great, I think, in the end. All right, y'all, that's it for the little free library build. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to find out more about the Little Free Library program, go to littlefreelibrary.org and check it out. If you missed something or if I didn't cover something, throughout the video explaining how this works. Be sure to go check it out. They got a really good library. They got a really good website full of pertinent information, the history, frequently asked questions, facts, all about the Little Free Library organization. It's really cool. As far as this goes, this was a really tightly budgeted build. The only thing that I had to buy for this build was the hinges, the shingles, and some caulk. The rest of this was made out of scrap lumber that I had lying around in the shop. So it worked out really well. And I take that back. Plexiglass. The plexiglass that I had here was too thin. So I did go and get a piece of 1/8 inch thick plexiglass or acrylic, whatever you want to call it. And that's it. Everything else I had here in the shop. So spring hinges, plexiglass, and shingles. So that's it. The rest of this was scrap lumber, and it just took, it took a decent amount of time to get all these parts milled down. But like I said, this was from a plan off littlefreelibrary.org. I signed up for the newsletter, and that gets you permission to download PDF plans of various builds for the Little Free Libraries. And the sky's the limit. Your imagination is your only ceiling when it comes to building these little receptacles for the share book and take a book type system that this works off of. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or any experience with the Little Free Library, be sure to let me know down in the comments section. I'd love to hear about it. But anyway, that's it for this video. Y'all stay safe, and y'all come back now. The kids are gonna love this Little Free Library. I wish I had a Little Free Library when I was a kid. These kids don't know how good they got it. Here we go. This ought to keep the little bastards busy for a while. All right. What the hell are you doing? What? It's not just for kids. I can't even deal with this right now. I can't even deal with you right now. What? What? It's not just for kids. You can use it too. I don't know what his problem is. I'm gonna use it right now. Why is carjacking so popular in New York City? It's easier than trying to get a cab. Oh man, that's the only reason I read these things.